Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here, coming at you from the Knife Center, and it's our favorite time of the week because the coolest new knives that have just hit our shelves are on the table in front of me. So let's check them out. All right, starting things off this week with an exclusive, a fixed blade. New versions of the Nomad EDC Bushcrafter, or I guess just the Nomad Bushcrafter, from Work Tuff Gear, the Zeke Minacho design, are now available as of today. This is also slightly less expensive than the previous versions of this we have had in stock, coming in just under 150 bucks, and the quality you get for that is very good overall. Construction is top notch. The design is a nice general purpose shape. Bushcrafter obviously is in the name. There have been Scandi ground versions of this, but this is the high flat ground version. So it's a little more applicable to more than just that nice specialized wood carving type of stuff that Scandi grinds are very good at. You could just as easily use this for any manner of camp tasks. It would be okay at food prep. Would definitely be a decent skinner and just a good all-around utility knife. Like so. Blade steel here is K329, a bowler steel. I believe it's made in Sweden, but it's essentially just a high toughness tool steel. Good basic stuff that is sure to keep on ticking even as you thrash it around. And you're kind of going to want to. This is not a super thin knife. It's got some beef to the blade, so you could really hammer on it. You could do some light batoning with this, or smaller diameter batoning with this, and just generally rely on this as a hard use tool. The handles here are black and red G10, and it looks like a thin red liner there. It's just barely thicker than the standard layer of red right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and go out on a limb and say that counts as a liner. You can decide whether you agree with me or not.
I'm too far away.
See here, let me hold it closer. How about now?
And you're in shadow.
The handle has that same shape as the original Nomad EDC. Looks a bit unconventional, but it actually fills and sits in my hand quite nicely. Saber grip is very nice with this scooped out portion here to act as a thumb rest. You've got a crisp spine in front of that thumb rest, but the thumb rest portion itself is not quite as crisp, so it's a little more comfortable than if it were fully crisp. But that fully crisp section, great for scraping, great for striking a fire steel, of course. You've also got a protruding tang here at the back that could probably strike a fire steel as well, as acting as a basher. Comes with a Kydex sheath. Clicks quite nicely, and the belt attachment hardware for it is this thing right here. Am I making Thomas angry enough yet?
Give it time.
You can attach it and carry the sheath in either a vertical or horizontal fashion if you simply, I guess it would be, hang on, I'm confused. Yeah, but you could rotate it and it would work for horizontal carry as well. What more do you want to know?
You're never big on puzzles, were you?
Yeah, that was more my brother's thing usually. But yeah, very cool knife, very nicely made, as is typical from Work Tuff. It's like boringly excellently made. That's the problem. They do a good job, so that's just what it is. Check them out now at the links below, or the link below, one or the other. Next up, keep the fixed blades going a little bit. This one is definitely unconventional and definitely a bit more of a curiosity rather than a kind of everyday carry tool, although you could certainly carry it every day. This is from Boker and their History Knife and Tool label. This is the Sleeve Dagger. Was sometimes originally called a bodkin or a nail dagger, but the model name here is the Sleeve Dagger. As you can see, it is triple edged. It is a single piece of steel, GCR 15. It's another just high carbon tool steel right here. 53 bucks and some change for this. Originally designed by the British SOE, the Special Operations Executive during World War II for covert operations, comes with a sleevable sheath essentially right here. Just a leather pouch like so. And I believe this is also kind of mimicking the original designs. Adjustable loop here on the back. So you can carry it on your person in the sleeve or on the leg maybe. It might be a decent boot option for some folks right there. But like I said, it's a bit of a curiosity, but it's basically just really, really cool. Black stone-washed finish. It has an old school antique look to it, like you might expect from like an actual World War II era piece. It's nice and strong due to the single piece construction right here. You got the cap there at the back for placing your thumb, or I don't know, what else do you use that for? Burnishing things? I don't know. I'm trying to make up utilitarian uses for this thing, but
it's a field surgeon's knife. It'll crush pills.
Hey, there you go. It's a doctor's knife. Why not? I've thought these things were cool as heck as soon as we saw them from Boker. I guess it was at Blade Show they showed this to us when they debuted, or when we saw their stuff when we shot video for them this year. Very, very cool piece in stock right now. Or at least it is right now while we're filming. But I don't know what it's going to be like right now when you're watching it. So
now.
Again, links below. Actually, quick note about the steel on this knife. It is essentially analogous in formula to 52-100, so ball bearing type steel. So if you're familiar with that, you'll know what you're getting right there. Next up, we've got a pocketable fixed blade, just barely. That is the Kansept Korvid S. Not a new design, but some new finishes just hit the site. I really like this one with a rose gold or bronze cleaver style blade, cleaver coated blade of 14C28N with the white G10. I think this one offers a really cool look, and it's $50 too. So you've got a big cleavery chunk of that Sandvik steel, just under 3 inches long on the length. Enough handle length there for a full grip as well, for most folks anyway. With my slightly larger than average hands, I've got all 4 fingers on there quite nicely. And here is the sheath. It's Kydex, and it does come with a small clip. This would enable pocket carry. This is going to take up quite a bit of real estate in your pocket if that's the way you wish to carry this knife. But it is set up that way right out of the box. Could also make a good inside the waistband carry with that particular bit of hardware. If you'd rather have a more conventional carry, like on your belt perhaps, let me check the hole spacing here. Looks like a large tech lock. Does that fit down there? No, it doesn't. Large tech lock won't do it. Let's see if a small tech lock will fit the bill. Not quite, actually. Interesting. So if you wanted to carry it with something else, I would recommend either, Ulti clips would work. That's doesn't offer you a belt carry option as much, but CIVIVI's T clip should do it. It's similar to the Tech Lock, except instead of a center hole on this side, it offers a small slot. So there's more adjustability in that particular system. Keeping the pocketable fixed blade train going, we've got the new Baby Banter fixed blade from CIVIVI. We've got a lot of Wii CIVIVI and Sencut releases that were dropped earlier this week. Those 3 are essentially the same, different levels of the same company. But they've been talking about this a lot as a pocket fixed blade as well. But when I get to the sheath, I'll show you it doesn't actually come with any pocket hardware. You could certainly slip it into your pocket, but you'll need to bring something else if you want it stationary in your pocket. But let's talk about the knife itself first. $59 and some change. You've got Nitro V blade steel, about 2.4 inches on the blade length. And let's see, that's probably the, yep, that is from the tip to the scale. Actual sharpened edge is about 1 7/8 there. You're getting some of that taken away by the finger space provided by the large jimped choil right there. And this is a 3-finger grip knife for me. This is the green micarta version, but there's a black G10 with blue liners version that has a black blade as opposed to the satin blade right here. So you've got solid grip from your 3 fingers, and to give you a little bit more, the paracord fob here at the back allows your pinky to kind of lock in and keep it from slipping forward out of your grip. So a little bit of a shorter handle than the folding knife version of this knife, the folding version of this knife, but you've got jimping here under your thumb and for your fingertip out there near the tip. full flat grind. Slicing is going to be quite nice, and the grip is pretty good for that size as well. Would be a good neck knife, certainly. It actually does come with a breakaway ball chain, so you could neck carry this with the included hardware. And it also comes with a belt sheath, or a belt clip, made out of Kydex on the Kydex sheath itself. So that's going to click in right there. If you want to pocket carry it, with the 4 closely spaced rivets here, certainly your Ulti-clip will work quite nicely. Let's check out the standard attachments while we're at it, just for kicks. Small tech lock is lining up to that perfectly, so you've got some nice options with that. If you're unfamiliar with the tech lock concept, it's another thing that will allow you to carry things vertically or horizontally, and sometimes even more options. And I'm assuming a large tech lock is not going to work anywhere, since the small one is where it's at. Yep. That is the case. So there you go. An Ulti clip or a Mummert titanium clip, which we sometimes have in stock, will turn this into an excellent pocket fixed blade for sure. By the way, did you all see the interview I did with Ben Peterson over on their NAFS channel last week? They posted it last Friday. If you haven't, feel free to go check it out. Maybe we'll have a link in the description below.
You did a video without me.
I did a video without... Why are you complaining? You didn't have to edit this one.
This is true.
I think it turned out pretty good. We had some good conversation over there. But speaking of Ben Peterson, his former protege in the video space, Zach Whitmore of the Zach in the Wild channel, has finally released, or CIVIVI has finally released, his folding knife design, the Yonder. And this, along with the next knife we're going to look at, are the first crossbar locks in CIVIVI's lineup. These are starting at about $57 for black G10 with satin blade versions. This one right here is just under $59 for the dark green micarta version with the black blade. We've also got for just under $80 a wood-handled Damascus blade option. So good differentiation between the 3 models available right now. Blade itself is just under 2.9 inches long. Very, very thin indeed. This is going to be a great little slicer. Tip feels nice and precise for stronger work. It's a little bit higher up on the axis. It's a little more centerline. Some folks are going to like that. Might make it a little bit more of a reach for scoring work with the tip, but not too far out of bounds. The micarta is nice, has a little bit of contour to it. We've got a small deep carry, or like a short length deep carry clip, inset with flush mounted screws, and on the opposite side a filler tab to keep that front side clean. But overall you have a fully ambidextrous system here with the reversible clip, perfectly symmetrical experience left or right. Ambidextrous crossbar lock, and of course the thumb studs. Action itself feels maybe a little bit on the lighter side for a crossbar lock, but not by much. I may be imagining things here. I might have to A/B it with some other things. But yeah, it's nicely done. About what you would expect from a crossbar lock from the minds at CIVIVI. They were not going to turn out something that didn't quite do the job. They're they hold themselves to a certain standard, and this definitely meets the bill right there. Handle length, we'll get to that too. It's about a 3-finger grip for me. I got a little bit of 4th finger there. It's kind of a 3.5 finger grip. I don't know. What do you think? Is this a good angle?
As long as you pick one.
How's that? Is it
That'll do.
Yeah, I was a little fumbly there, sorry. Yeah, for some folks, you might get a better 3.5 to 4 finger grip. With my size hands, I'm not quite getting it there. You can certainly choke up and bridge your index finger over the guarded portion right here and get a fuller grip when you need to. And now, up to the WE Knife brand, and back to a Ben Peterson design, the original Ben Peterson knife design, updated for a new generation. This is the Banter 2 with the crossbar lock, priced more or less in line with the originals, and maybe a tiny bit more. It depends on which version you're looking at. For about $115, you can get a micarta version. They're all coming with S35VN. There's also some aluminum handled versions, a blue with a non-blackened blade, and this really cool kind of muted purple with the black stonewash on the blade. Also S35VN, this is $119 for this one. Shape is pretty much the same as the original Banter, just A little bit more rounded here at the front, and that's a concession to the protruding type tang prong that you'll get here with a crossbar lock. Just kind of keeps that nice and clean so you don't have that little bit jutting out. Some folks really don't like that, so he's made an effort to ensure that's not on this particular version. The crossbar lock in this actually feels a little bit tighter, a little bit tauter than on the Yonder we just looked at. A little bit of variance there, perhaps. We've got a milled aluminum on this, hint of contour. That's something the standard liner lock Banter doesn't have. Those are all typically flat. And your deep carry clip here, flush mounted, or inset with flush mounted screw heads, and you get that filler plate on the front as well. 3-inch blade, nice spear point shape that's going to do just about anything. A pretty accommodating handle, even for bigger hands, because you can really use all of that quite effectively. So you're getting a lot of capability in the package that is going to, or the space that's going to take up in your pocket. There you go. What if you really do want a bigger knife though? We got some bigger ones here. Sencut, which is the budgetiest subsidiary of the CIVIVI Sencut empire, at 39 bucks. We've got the Praktisk, Praktisk, coming in about 3.6 inches on the blade. So not huge, but definitely a full-size experience right here. This is going to be 9CR series stainless, so roughly 440C levels of performance. Nice long blade, fairly thin, high flat grind. This is going to be an excellent everyday slicer. I liked the yellow G10, but several flavors are available at this point in time. 39 bucks. I mean, that is a lot of knife for the money for sure. We've got a liner lock. We've got ball bearings in the pivot with flipper tab and thumb stud opening options on the same blade. Both work great. We've got a deep carry pocket clip. Not inset, but you do have flush head screws, keeping things nice and tidy. For a more premium experience, I don't know why I'm dropping X's out of words today. We have the Sine Wave from CIVIVI. These are from technically. These start at about 320, where's the low one? 327 and some change. This particular one is the highest end version at a considerably higher margin, 726 or thereabouts. If that's a bit beyond your reach, but you still think you might be able to swing it, I should mention we've added Sezzle as a payment option to the website, so you can split it up into 4 different payments. If that sounds like a good thing to you, this might be one worth doing that thing on. But anyway, the blade steel is M390 on all the other versions except for this one, which has the Damascus steel blade, which is based on ATS 34 powder metallurgy steel, or sorry, RWL 34 powder metal steel. So it still is a powder metallurgy product. You're not going to get the same edge retention out of it at this as you will of the M390. This is more for aesthetics without sacrificing a huge downgrade in performance. Titanium handles, really cool front and back. This is actually a nested liner lock rather than a frame lock, and it is really finely executed. The machining and milling here is all top notch. We've got a flipper tab for opening, nice subtle flipper tab, and man, that rockets that blade out quite nicely. You want to know what's silly? I think this would have looked really cool with this is almost a Nesmucky style blade, but it's not, but I can see that working really well with that blade shape. KnifeCenter exclusive, perhaps? No, probably not. That would be quite the expensive proposition right there. But yeah, it feels really good. It would look very nice on display if that's your thing, but if you actually want to use it, there's a lot of handle there. No flipper tab to get in the way, since that opening tab is just this nice subtle piece right there. You don't even see it when it's in the open position, so you can get right up there behind the edge for some real fine control over this. I didn't mention the blade length, about 4-inch blade. Very cool. Keeping the big knife, big folder train going, we've got a more than 4-inch blade, a 4.1-inch blade. The Acta non-Verba A400 BB Hard Task, coming in at $184. Fairly good price for everything you're getting right here, and it is a fairly large knife. Hard Task, it says it right on the tin. That is exactly what it's made to do. Work hard, work heavy. The handle has the swell you might want to back up long or prolonged use with the kind of ergonomics you might want. The ridging on here is quite on the aggressive side, however, so I would probably recommend wearing gloves if you're using this for any lengthy period of time. And that is going to kind of affect the in-pocket experience as well with that wire pocket clip, which is reversible, but you're going to get some traction right there. A bit of a pocket shredder right here. The blade itself, Sleipner steel, high flat grind, good steel choice for just a hard use knife. Not a hugely thick blade right there. So you might not want to be pounding on this as much as you might some others, although if you're doing that, I would recommend a fixed blade anyway. This is still going to maintain pretty decent, probably even more than decent slicing capability. There's also a cool touch right here. Beyond just hard use, this might be a good option, or an option to consider for you outdoors people out there, or pyromaniacs, anyone who likes to start fires outside. You've got a sharpened choil here that will work as a fire steel scraper. So there you go, it says it right on the tin as well. Now, something unique about this, not wholly unique, I should say, but something you don't see very often, and that is a crossbar lock and a flipper opening mechanism. The reason being, it's hard to get a crisp detent with a crossbar lock because that's not a thing crossbar locks use, which makes flipping trickier to feel right. And it is easy if you're not paying attention to not really flick it out all the way, but it works nice if you know what you're doing and you're aware of what you're doing, I should say. As far as the action, I mean, it is a big knife. It's borderline too big for me to close that crossbar lock comfortably, or confidently, I should say, because I usually will be anchoring off the pocket clip, which is small and way far away from the actual crossbar in this case. Your mileage may vary, but those with small hands might have a little more trouble working the controls on this knife than some others might. Now, the cool thing about this knife too is, despite all the length, it's not hugely, bulky or heavy, really. It's only 4.8 ounces. That's not too bad for a greater than 4-inch blade. So it's not going to weigh you down too much. Now, this next knife is kind of famous for, or infamous, some might say, for its weight, and they've done something about that. This is the newest version of the SOG SEAL XR. This is SOG SEAL XR Ti, because instead of the steel liners that this original came with, they've transitioned to titanium, and they say that's a 20% weight reduction on the knife. It's still heavy. This is an 8.2 ounce knife, but it is less heavy than before. Now, this particular version is made entirely in the USA, and we've got a Magna Cut blade steel here. Very cool stuff. So high toughness, high edge retention, and of course stainless as well. Price on this knife is coming in at just under $300 right now. Plenty of traction, as if that wasn't obvious by all the traction you can see on the camera. Definitely not going to have an easy time letting this slip out of your fingers. Again, this would be a good one for gloves to make an appearance when you're doing a lot of hard work with it. One other thing you get with this particular version or iteration of the knife is color options. But David, it's black, you say. At the moment it is. In the box, they also include 2 extra sets of scales, one in this kind of desert tan and one of this more OD or Ranger green, maybe OD green. It's not like they're codified what those colors are, but you have the other color options. You can swap them out if you wish. And they even include color matched thumb stud bars or thumb stud cap covers that can coordinate with those as well. So you can actually mix them up a little bit if you want to interchange it. So that's pretty cool too. 3.9-inch blade on the thicker side, so more of a basher than a slicer. But you've got sort of a saber height flat grind there. Not too bad. Not going to be a slicing phenom, but it should be a very durable blade overall. On the back side, you've got their Persuader tool, which is nudge, nudge, wink, wink sort of titling going on right there. You've got a reversible pocket clip with the, will that actually drive a 4mm or a 1/4-inch hex? It looks a little bit small. Do we have one here we can check? We don't, do we?
I have one smaller than that, but no.
We'll check in B-roll. Insert footage here.
Thanks for the note.
And we're back. But you got a reversible clip. You've got the crossbar lock, and you've got a flipper. again, an unusual combination. SOG, however, has been pretty consistent in getting that right. This is not the first time they've done it. They've got it on a few of their other models, and the action here is better. It's a little crisper than on the Acta non-Verba, I would say. Yeah, it's cool to see this knife kind of back being refreshed with MagnaCut. All right, enough big knives. Let's go with some small knives. D-Rocket. This is the 007 Ti Q branch OTF. It's kind of has some similarities to the sleeve dagger. Not in its construction, of course, but this is also kind of something that could be covertly carried somewhere. Maybe it's the name, 007. You might expect it to be something like that. $315 for this knife, about a 2 1/8 inch double-edged blade, M390 steel. So you've got over 4 inches of M390 edge, so there is a lot of cutting you could do with this otherwise very small knife. Titanium frame with the fluting. Nice experience with the button right there with the slider. The action is not massive, but precise feeling, which is very nice. Certainly very quick. And a deep carry pocket clip to keep it out of, what shall we say? To keep it from being remarked upon too much, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, it's a cool little guy.
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to knife.
There you go. Now we've got back to Kansept. We've got some Kansept folders to talk about now. We showed the Korvid S fixed blade earlier, but now we're talking about small folders. How about the Korvid Mini, or the Mini Korvid right here? This is, of course, festooned with more elaborate things. Gosh.
Decoration.
Sure. Decoration. I let myself down with that one. I'm sorry, folks. 107 and some change for this. S35 VN blade, 1.45 inches with this teal coating, and titanium handles with some kind of variegated dimpling, rainbow dimpling, shall we say, and some coated blade or standoffs here at the back as well. This is one of those just kind of smiley configurations of this design. It is, however, quite small, and there are 3 different opening methods. Let's see how many of them I can execute. I know I can do the flipper, because I've done that already. It's also got a front flipper. Small front flippers are tough for me. Oh, I did it. If I don't do it again, though, we'll know.
And there it is.
Oh, come on. I just got lucky the first time. Darn it. All right. However, a reverse flick, because of the fullers on this knife, that'll be really impressive. Oh, I feel like I'm going to drop this. Oh, gosh. This feels so fraught with danger.
Won't be my fault.
That's about as much as I think I can get. Yeah. Smaller-handed folks might have more luck with this one. My slightly larger than average hands are not built for this knife. Your mileage may vary. Make a great keychain knife, though, I would say. There we go. Next up from Kansept, we've got the Jonathan Shaw designed Osprey coming in 135 or so for this wicked little guy right here. About a 2 1/4 inch S35 VN blade, very stylish hawk bill with very comfy and accommodating titanium handles. It's kind of a 3-finger grip, but it feels nice and solid. This would make a good package opener, good thing for breaking down cardboard, especially. I think recurve blades, for most folks, at least in terms of tasks you might encounter day to day, that would be the one where this type of shape would really excel, because as you're pulling through a cut, the tip is pointed down, so it's less likely to slip out of a cut, like something with a lot of belly might be more likely to slip out of a cut. Also, that recurve kind of pulls the material into itself. It gathers the material and kind of increases your shearing power a little bit as you move through a cut. So that's pretty cool. Let's check out the action. We've got a front flipper, which works quite nicely. And we've got an opening hole. Reverse flick works fine there too. Yeah, it feels really nice. We've got a cool milled pocket clip there with internal screws, keeping that presentation nice and clean. And I appreciate the amount of thickness they went with on this particular handle. It's not a shrimpy feeling thing. You really feel like you could actually kind of work this knife pretty, fairly aggressively, I would say. Another cool detail right there in the crown spine. Overall, very, very nice. And a very good price for the amount of refinement you're getting on this knife. Next up, we've got the Tarkin, a Matthew Christensen design from Kansept. Sorry, Kansept. Have I been saying Kansept this whole time?
Yep.
Force of habit. Few different price points. Some of them start under the $200 mark. This one is about $212 with this flamed titanium finish. 3.36 inch M390 blade. It says modified tanto, but that's really going to behave like a drop point. Well, let's see. Do we have... Okay, it is a straight spine right there. So it's almost straight backed, almost a long clip. Sharpen that a few times, that little transition that makes it qualify as modified tanto will disappear. This is more or less a drop point, I'm saying, in terms of how you're going to experience the knife. Really nice feeling on the handle. I like the contouring on the titanium. We have got a thumb disc for opening in addition to the front flippy. Let's check out the front flippy. Okay, works pretty good. That is the ultimate turnaround there, where the thumb opening didn't work so well for me. I think I just slipped. It's fine. It works well. Let's try a reverse flick. Yeah, that works great too. Pretty cool premium feeling design. Again, pretty decent price for what you're getting. And it's nothing too out there. It's just a solid everyday type of option. If you want to carry that kind of elevated experience in your pocket, there you go. Next up, Greg Schob design, or Greg Schob, not sure. This is the Baba Yaga, coming in this one at $232. Again, a few different prices, starting under that $100 mark, or sorry, under that $200 mark are available. 20 CV blade, just over 3 inches long. Titanium handles, stonewashed finish on both of those for this one, with black and white carbon fiber inlays front and back of the frame lock here. Like the Osprey, we've got a fairly substantial handle. I can get all 4 of my fingers on this one, and you've got some thickness to it. You've got some thickness to the blade as well, giving it that heft, or that feeling of heft and strength, but a hollow grind to kind of counteract that a little bit. So very thin behind the edge, very thin, very sharp edge, and getting, you know, steeper, of course, or more wedge-like there at the top. But for moving through most materials, the portion of the blade you'll be using is very thin indeed, despite the thickness at the spine. Let's check out the action. Thumb studs only in this case. That works pretty nice. Not the crispest detent, but it works well. And reverse flick also works pretty great. Pretty cool little design. Actually, what are we calling this on? What would you guess we're calling this blade shape on the website, Thomas?
Do they have to guess what I'm going to call it?
I want you to guess.
Spear point.
Modified Wharncliffe is what they're calling it, in fact. There's a little bit of that same transition we saw on the Tarkin, however. Is this a modified Tanto, reverse Tanto?
Modified Warnto.
Modified Warnto, whatever. I don't care what you call it. It feels good in the hand. The handle, not the blade. Don't put the blade in your hand. I do not recommend. Don't be Joe Flowers.
We're not lawyers or doctors.
But don't put the blade in your hand. Full stop. We've also just gotten a new big batch of American-made McNees knives in, the Mac 2 G2, at a few different prices. This one is at $565 with the Atomic Beskar engraved titanium handles. That's paired up with a 3.5-inch MagnaCut blade, drop point, flat ground in this case, although we've had some hollow ground versions, I believe, in the past. This is a knife that really gets the most out of its blade to handle ratio. It's a handle with nothing protruding to kind of limit the amount of space you can use on it. You can hold the whole handle, if that makes sense. And then the blade itself is maxed out in its length, coming very near the end, as you can see, and the pivot is shoved as far towards the other end as possible, getting you the most of that MagnaCut blade. Frame lock for security, standard style pocket clip. This is a right side only pocket clip in this case. Just feels very, very solid indeed. I will say, opening them, you have to be a little precise in your action. Make sure you're not putting any pressure on that lock bar. This is one where it feels maybe a little more susceptible to that, so just make sure you're going to do what you need to do But it is a solid, solid feeling knife. A little bit of thickness to the blade there, so not a super slicey knife, but slicey enough and strong enough for a wide variety of just about anything. If you like thin and slicey though, check out this. This is a version of the case razor, which is back out of the vault for this year and this year only, at least until it comes back again way later, but they are gonna stop producing this pattern again after this year. We've got this and a few other case knife patterns in this new configuration. We've got Damascus for the blade and Burl, maple burl for the handles. So we've got a ladder Damascus here. I actually don't know whether this is a carbon or a stainless Damascus. If we can find that information before the video goes out, we'll make sure to put it up here in the corner as well. It certainly looks good. It's got the feel of like a Chad Nichols type of Damascus, or someone who's making their steel in a similar fashion to that traditional method. But again, we'll see what we can find. Single layer thick on this razor right here, and you've got that leading edge right there with the scoop out. That is actually a way to open this knife one-handed. It's one of the few traditional slip joints that lack any sort of thumb stud or anything that you can open one-handed. But simply hook that like on a pocket or on a belt loop or on the hem of your pants, and you can anchor it there while you rotate the blade the rest of the way out. And then you've got this full height hollow ground knife blade that is going to be pretty slicey for most things, and you still have enough of a tip on there to puncture with and open packages day to day too, which is also pretty cool. You also might be able to shave with it if you were an enterprising individual. It is a razor after all.
I tried opening one with my shoe once. It worked very well.
Did it?
Yes.
Yeah, I could see that, especially like a little bit of give, like with a rubber sole or something. It would really kind of anchor in there pretty nicely.
There was tread on my shoe at the time. So.
So that's where it went. Another slip joint to take a look at. This one is of German make. This is the Boker Coffin, a Chuck Gadratus design, coming in just under 137. We've got a spear point blade, just over 3 inches long, about 3 1/8 of Magna Cut steel, with a heavily stone washed and slightly acid etched finish. Contoured burlap micarta handles, and a pocket clip, a reversible deep carry pocket clip, in fact. That is kind of your concession to modernity on this particular slip joint, because the mechanism itself with the leaf spring there at the back is all classic, and the action is nice. You don't get the kind of ting you might get as you would on or as you can get on metal handled versions of this knife, but you can definitely feel the action is exactly how you would want. It's just kind of some of those vibrations get kind of dulled and absorbed by the micarta right there. Real cool pattern. Definitely a very versatile blade shape for everyday carry, and the ability to keep it stationary in your pocket with that deep carry clip. Very, very cool. Last but certainly far from the least, we have this year's Zodiac Huntsman from Victorinox. Each year they bring out a Huntsman decorated with the current Zodiac sign. This is the year of the snake, and this knife comes in at $99. It is the standard Huntsman. It's got all the standard tools that model has. So 2 blades, toothpick and tweezers, scissors, saw, cap lifter and can opener with their screwdriver tips, hook, awl, and corkscrew at the back, but you actually do get the little sim tool in the corkscrew, so that doesn't come on the standard Huntsman. And I think they went with that because it's red, so it matches the red of the handle here. Same thing with the toothpick and tweezers. They went for the red versions right here. So if you want a Huntsman for its utility, don't buy this one because this is more of the collectible option for folks out there, and it does not offer you any more utility than the standard Huntsman, which the price on those can't be much more than $50 these days. I should look that up real quick, shouldn't I?
Stand by.
Yeah, Huntsman start at like $52. So if you just need one for the utility, just buy one of those. But if you like the package here, it certainly would make a great gift, or if you've got your collection going, great for keeping the collection going. The boxes on these are really nicely done as well. I don't often show packaging on the channel, but when it's particularly noteworthy, it's worth it. slides out. The cardboard here feels like it's lined with something. In fact, probably cardboard. Yeah, it's cardboard, but you've got like a fabric, almost like book type binding material on the outside. You've got this card on the inside, Chinese and English on there. You know, the Zodiac is a Chinese thing, so it's appropriate that they would have those two options there. And the red and gold, of course, is a traditional color combination for that culture as well. That's all we've got for today, folks. Let me know what you thought down in the comments. And if you want to get your hands on any of them, make sure to check out the links in the description, which will take you to KnifeCenter.com. Don't forget, we've just added a Sezzle option, and no matter which payment method you choose, don't forget about our long-running Knife Rewards program, because the least we can do when you buy one of our knives today is, you guessed it, give you some free money to spend on your next one. I'm David C. Anderson from the Knife Center. That's Thomas behind the camera, and we are signing off. See you next time. Do we sign off or sign out? There's probably a difference.
Or online.
Bye.